on the course and tournaments and stuff like that?
A lot more consistent.
Good. That's great to hear. When's your next match?
I think we have one next Tuesday, maybe.
Next Tuesday? Where at?
Couldn't tell you.
Couldn't tell you. Okay. Gotcha. Does not like having that low point. Have you found this place to be pretty helpful for you with your golf swing as well?
Very helpful.
Good.
Yeah, I was actually up here last night with my dad, and I was 6 over through 17.
Nice. What course were you guys playing?
Someone in France.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I just play at random courses.
Get the basket of balls over here. Well, one thing I've kind of noticed here, as far as what we've been working on here, it doesn't look like the steepness or over the top is nearly as much now. So it looks like you're starting to get closer to, with our path elite, at least from what I'm kind of seeing here a little bit closer to 0, okay, which is really good. I think when we came on in here, we were kind of like 5 or 7 over the top. So getting that closer to 0 is what our end goal is, right? I'd rather you be a little bit positive, that's me. But if we're slightly negative, I'm fine. But once again, just as we can get close to 0, then we're going to start getting more consistent ball flight down our target line, right?
Yes, sir.
So I'm seeing good stuff right there. So good work. Now, have you noticed since you've been in here that you're starting to get more of an awareness of what your average distance is with your irons? And is that translating out on the course? That's the big thing.
Yeah, it is helping a lot.
Good, good. So once you get on over there and you're like, hey, I've got 120, you feel confident to grab the pitching wedge and go at it, right?
Yeah.
Good, 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 good. That's the big thing a lot of people don't understand. Once you give me about 8 more swings here, kind of run through it, and then we'll grab the driver and take a look at that on video. You kind of go from there. Sound good, my man?
Sounds good.
All right.
2 more, that should be good.
Okay. Seven iron out now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Give me one more, my man. All right, big guy, let's take a look at that real quick before we switch over to the driver on the next swing. Okay. So what I see here a little bit, okay, as far as what I see is the setup with the 7 iron right here, okay? I think the stance is a little too wide, okay? And number 2, I think the ball is being played back too far in our setup, okay? So that's why you're getting that low ball out to the right there, okay? One is that we don't, when we have the ball too far back, our chest has to go back behind it to go get it, okay? And then we have to kind of get stuck back behind it to release the club. But if we can have that ball a little bit more up in our setup, we can get more of the feeling of chasing that ball down the fairway instead of getting stuck behind it. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
And it also gives your club more opportunity to have more loft on it, number 1. And number 2, it gives it just that extra split second to have that face closed for us a little bit.
Okay.
Ever so slightly, right? Okay, so if we look here at JT right here, okay, and this is him with a 6 iron right here, you can see that this was kind of middle right here. He's got that played just a little bit forward of middle, right? Where you're playing that just back of middle, okay? It's ever so slightly, but if I moved it 2 balls up on you right there, you get a whole different trajectory with your ball. Does that make sense? Okay? So that's something that we want to be aware of, especially with our irons, okay? That might be a good spot to play like a 56 degree or something like that, but we definitely don't want that wide of a stance. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Any questions there, what you see?
No, sir.
Okay. Actually, let's run through the swing real quick and not just the setup. Okay. Okay. Good, but one thing I can kind of see here just a little bit, okay, as we kind of go, if you kind of look here, the wrists, they're starting to set a little bit. You may want them a little bit earlier, but I start to see a little bit of a lift right there. You see that? Okay, and that might be because of our hand path a little bit. A little long, but I think you're just going to be a player that is usually always a little long, and I'm fine with that. You get a really good turn right there, good driving through, right? But you see how far ahead of you everything is here, okay? And that's because because of the ball position, right? You see how you're having to chase to come back to where that ball is right there, and you see how your body wants to go forward. If I move that ball up a little bit, it gives you more of an opportunity to swing through that. Does that make sense as you see that? All right, and then we would start to get rid of this little flick of the wrist right here, right? And if your timing's really good, that's going to work for us, right? But if it's not, it's a bad day. Does that make sense, big guy?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. So do me one favor here before we grab the driver. Just grab one ball for me. Okay, so we get a feel for what we're supposed to do with that. Okay.
And then you said up in the stance, so like that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna jump on in there real quick. So let's kind of do this real quick so you kind of see the comparable difference here between what we're trying to do. So you see where his setup is, and you see where yours is. You see how wide that is right there?
Yes, sir.
Let me jump on in there real quick on it. Okay. All right, so you can see in the video here, right, if you kind of look face on here, right, that you're kind of more like, you'd be like this. Wouldn't you kind of agree?
Yes,
okay. I want us to kind of get more like this, okay, when we set up, kind of get everything going. You see how much more up that is for the 7-iron?
Yeah.
To you, it probably looks like somewhere you'd play a driver or a high iron, right? But what it is now I can turn behind that ball, okay? See where I'm turning here? And now when I come here, you see how I can get everything to move like you're trying to do there?
Yeah.
But once I get this thing back here like this and I turn, and look what I have to kind of do. I have to leave my arms back over here as my body's starting to move forward, right? And then for you, you're very athletic and you've got good timing, which is good, right? But if we're off on that day, it's not a good day, right? So then it's kind of like this for you as you come through, and then you kind of flick at it, okay? Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so for our setup, right, and remember, we always want to kind of practice with an alignment rod when we're trying to work on our setup, okay? So if I kind of did this to you, right, so this gives us an idea of where our target line is, okay? Then I'd always have this right here in the middle, okay? And then have that ball, you know, here's the center, have that one ball up, or ball and a half up. I just want you, don't worry about the swing, I just want you to kind of look at the setup, get used to that. Right, now let's narrow up our setup, stance, even more. There you go, okay? Okay, you feel how that is right there? You feel how much different that is for you? How much more up that is? Okay, we don't need a big wide stance like we would with the driver on this. Probably just inside shoulder width apart here, and kind of go. Okay, that's going to give you more rotation and give you a better balance point, I think, than having our hips out like this, and then it's really tough to turn.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, give me just a small swing there and kind of get a feel for that. Okay.
Okay.
Let's move that out of the way just a little bit from here, so we're not worried about that. Okay, there you go. Right, so it's a little small setup, a little smaller stance, right? Balls up in our setup just a bit. Here we go. Okay. All right, so that's going to take a little time. You see what that is right there? So definitely practice with something like this, and we want to start getting that ball moving up in our setup a little bit. It's going to help you release and help you chase that thing down the line.
Okay.
Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, big guy, let's grab that driver. See if we can grab some tees. That is becoming a sparse commodity around here. Tees. Whatever this is. This is interesting. Maybe that'll work. Now we're getting into. All right.
You just want me to take a swing at it?
Well, I want to see your setup first, okay? So I think our setup is just a little, maybe a little wide with our feet, but we'll take a look at that in just a sec. I'll let you kind of have that. So go ahead, set up for me. And I just want to kind of see. All right. So, okay. First things first. You've got an open stance. So I want that changed. I want it like this. Okay. So I want that guy up and I want this guy back. There you go. So that gets us more to the inside.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
All right. Go ahead and set up again. Yep, so if I just put this right along your toe line, right, I want this, you know, maybe a golf ball off that line a little bit.
Okay.
You see how everything closes up like in baseball? Okay, good. Set up there for me, partner. Okay. Good. Now I want to check where that is in relationship. Go ahead, set up for me. Okay, good. So what I'm trying to do is there's two ways of kind of looking at it. Sometimes we want the ball, some people have a better visual of having the ball about a ball or two inside their left heel. I really like the idea of getting that ball lined up off my left shoulder.
Okay.
Okay, so that's what I'm checking for right now. Right, so you see how that works out?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, well, let's give it a swing, my man. chances here, and then we're going to take a look at it. One more here for me. So a few things that we kind of see here, right? Just kind of right off the bat. Actually, I'll change this on over to the driver. I'm going to do that earlier. But even with that being said, a few things that we kind of see here with the makings of, right? So the big thing is our club path is really over the top on this. So it tells me that if I were to have a conversation with you about where the starter, where power is, you're probably going to relate to me the idea that when I get up over here, I got to move as fast as I can back to the ball. Does that make sense? Is that kind of the idea that we kind of have a little bit? Okay. We need to be a little bit more patient on that. Okay. And it's really tough with the driver, right? Because it's supposed to be the club that goes the furthest, right? So we equate that with it has to be the most aggressive. Does that make sense? And you know, as a younger man, when I was younger, that was the idea that I kind of had. And I'm sure it's the same as you, because you're an athletic kind of guy, right? But we need to start having a little bit more patience and figure out where that next process is in the swing, and not just from the top. Does that make sense? Okay. So do me a favor, set up for me real quick for me. Okay. Now we're going to get on up to the top. I want you to get up to the top in an aggressive manner, then stop. Does that make sense? Okay. So one thing I kind of see here is a lot of arm movement and not a lot of, you know, pull back behind. Does that make sense? All right. So for me, it kind of looks like this a little bit, like, right? Okay. So once again, there you go. Good. Let's get on up to the top again. Get aggressive for me. Good. Now, a few things that we kind of see here that aren't helping us, right? You see the cupping of this left wrist right here? We can have a little cupping right there, but that's going to mean the face is really open for us. Okay. Okay, so we'd much rather be in this position. There we go. Okay, so if I could get you right here, it's still a little cupped, okay, but we've closed that face a little bit. Does that make sense? Okay, now what I'm going to do is, let's do that again. Go ahead and get on up to the top for me, please. Good. Okay, I'm probably going to get these. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to start your swing for me. Start your downswing. Okay, where's it starting from?
Like my front hip, like I turn like that.
Correct, correct, okay? And that's what's got to start first for us, okay? Okay. That is exactly right, okay? So when I get on up over here, it's this guy turning out of the way that allows my arms to drop, okay? For you, it's kind of like here, and then it's like kill. Does that make sense? Okay, so it's going to have to be one of those things, and it's just a kind of a transition in the mind that when I get on up over here, it doesn't need to be fast at the top to begin with. It needs to be kind of slow and let it slowly gather, and then here is where I'm going to pick up the speed. Okay, so this is what I'd have you do. Okay, set up for me. Okay, yep. I'm going to take the club from you. Jump on out. All right, so if I kind of got you to kind of do this, right? So if I got on up to the top, see how I have my heel up here? Okay, before I start down, stomp, stomp, okay? And that's all we want to kind of work on. You'll see, what's that club doing? It's falling down for me. I don't have to move it, right? I just get on up here to the top, stomp. You see how everything moves together. It's not this guy going down and through. Does that make sense? All right. So give me a couple. Right, we're not swinging down and through. We're just trying to get a feel for that. Where's that heel? Okay, good, good. Right, so send that heel up for me. Stomp it. Yeah, you feel how everything starts to come down? Okay, let's keep doing that. I want you to do that a couple times. And I think we'll get the Hackman out so you can kind of start seeing what your wrist angle is at the top. You got to kind of get that kind of fixed as well. Okay. So what that starts to do here, right? So kind of explain a few of the numbers here a little bit. So over the top, that means we're swinging very aggressively to the left here, okay? The big thing I see here is that our low point is ahead of the ball, okay? So that really tells me that we're getting our head out in front of it, we're starting to hit down on it, we're putting a lot of spin on it, right? You see how we've got 63,000 RPMs? We want to be somewhere between, I'd say 24 to 31 RPMs right there, okay? But the big thing is that we've got to start to figure out or learn how to hit more behind the ball than ahead of it, okay? And that's more of kind of having this idea. I jump on in there on you, okay? Be much more of this idea. When I get on into impact, right, instead of having this feel, right, I need to start having the idea of feeling like my head's behind the ball and I'm throwing it up into the air. Does that make sense? Right? So much more head behind and keeping our weight up and through. Does that make sense? Because it's on a tee. Okay? Very good. Okay. So go ahead and set on up for me and give me a couple stomps there, okay? Up to the top, stomp, and just feel that weight moving down and through. Yeah. Very good. Right? You feel how everything starts to collect. You don't have to move your arms there, do you?
No.
Right? You just have to do the stomp. Okay? Do it a couple more times for me, big guy. Good. Good. Keep going. Let's get this guy on you so you can kind of see what your wrist movements are doing. I think that's kind of important as well. Where is that guy at? Okay. All right, big guy. So I'm going to put this thing on you. Okay, this is a little device, and what I'm going to kind of show you here is what your wrist is kind of doing, right? And how that's kind of affecting your swing a little bit, and what we want to kind of do a little bit there. Okay. So take this guy, take that guy. All right, now go. Let's see. Have you ever used one of these before?
No, sir.
No. Pretty cool little thing. I mean, they can get a little funky with some of the measurements. I wouldn't, but for the most part, it's going to give us a pretty good reading of what you're kind of doing, and I think give you a little bit of some understanding of what the wrists need to do. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we're going to get here, turn that guy on. Very good. Go here. Yep. Join. Okay. Need practice. Start calibrating. Okay, so come on over here for me, partner. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to basically take our hand, put it right here in front of us, and then they're going to ask us to move up. So here we go. All right, so we'll be there in that position, and then just raise it up. Okay. Recalibrate. Let's try it again. Okay. All right, hold on. Stay right there, and now go. Don't rotate. Oh, don't rotate your arm while lifting. Okay, so let's just try. Let's go with this. This thing's kind of being. All right, so let's just try to. Give me just a sec. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. We are on the driver in the woods. Done. Okay, so let's grab that real quick. Okay. Hit a ball to capture data. So let's hit about 4 or 5 balls here real quick. Where did our key go? There it is. There it is. The funky monkey tee. So go ahead and we're going to hit maybe 5 balls or something like that. Okay, and then we're just going to catch the data and see what we're doing here, okay?
Perfect.
All right, big guy. Okay, good. Okay. All right, so let's come on over here and take a look here. So kind of what I said, right? You see where we're at there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, yeah, so we've got that really bent there at the top. So let's see, where was it got that? All right, so overview. Okay. Top to extended, very good. Focus metrics. Okay. Top extended. All right. Top drills. So let's kind of do this, okay?
Okay.
So let's kind of see what he
The goal
says.
of this drill is to give you a clear feel for the correct amount of wrist extension at the top of your backswing. This helps to maintain a stable wrist position from address all
See
the
where
way
we're
to
at
the
there?
top.
Okay.
Here's how to do it. Set up normally at address and hold still. Hack motion will use this position to calculate your ideal wrist angles at the top. Swing up to the top position. Once you get there, hack motion will give you instant feedback on your wrist angle. If your attempt wasn't successful, pause at the top and use the biofeedback to feel what the correct position should be. Repeat the motion until it starts to feel natural. Once you're comfortable, progress to a full swing. Check out coaching for assistance if you feel like you're stuck. Happy golfing.
Yeah, thanks, dude. All right. So let's do the waiter drill here. Done. All right, so like what it said here, we're not going to hit a ball. Let's go to our address position. It's going to calculate from there. Okay. And actually, I'm going to move this thing over here so you can kind of see it. Okay. Does that make sense? What we're trying to work on here? Okay. So I'm going to get that here. I think that's a, you know, it's not the be-all, end-all, but it's definitely an area that we need to have fixed. Okay, so now it's got you at address. Just stay right there. Good. Now move it on back. Okay. Okay, so, all right, so yeah, here we go. Go again. Okay, try to move it back. Okay. Okay, see how you got too much flexion there?
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and set up again. Okay, so stay right there. Oh, so, hold on. Okay, stay up there at the top. There you go, okay? So now you can kind of move it, right? Do this. There you go. You feel that? Okay, so that's what we're trying to do right there. Does that make sense? Okay, let's rehearse that again. Now move it. Move it to where it is so you get the better, okay? Now it's not exactly where it needs to be, but we're teaching you where your wrist needs to be. Does that make sense? Okay? Good. Flatten that wrist out. Okay, is that starting to make sense a little bit? Okay, set up again. We got to go back to the setup position. So wait for it to kind of, okay, now go ahead, go up. Okay. Feel that?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so that's what I'm trying to get you to feel right here. Does that make sense? Okay, once again. There you go. Good job. Does that make sense? Okay. Flatten that wrist out.
Oh, this is-
Flatten that wrist out. There you go, okay? Flatten that wrist out. There you go. Okay. Okay, wait for it to calculate.
Just that, like,
Okay. Okay. Hey, all right. Okay. There you go. Okay.
all right, 2 in a row.
Good job. That's now we're on a streak, right? Now you're starting to get a feel for it, right? Okay, keep going. Good. It's okay. Pretty good position now. Okay. So let's take a look at this guy. Okay. All right. A little bit flatter. Okay. But what am I not seeing here? What we had before?
Like super, like over.
Over the top and long, right? That's where that wrist starts to get that cupping, right? Once I start to move that club and it starts to go this direction, I've got to put a cup in my hand. There's no way I'm going to hold it like this. I don't think it's going to be natural, right? So what we're doing is we're getting you to kind of feel more, right? If I were to say anything, we're getting you to kind of feel like the club's more back over here than over here. Does that make sense? Right? So what we're just trying to do is get that left wrist kind of bowed a little bit up at the top. So you see where I'm at right there? Now the back of my hand is matching the front of my face. Okay, but once I start to do this, these angles start to not match up. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's keep going. Practice. All right, just give me a couple swings here.
Like
But
a
I
full
think you're getting a good idea of what
Like a full swing.
Yeah, like a full swing. Just kind of give me a full swing and just kind of feel where that. Good. All right, so we're going to take that little device off now. Okay. Did that seem to help you a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, give you a good understanding of where your wrists need to kind of be?
Yeah, I did.
All right, good. See if we can get this off without having to take the glove off. Here we go. Good. All right, so with all that being said, okay, let's do 4 drives.
Okay.
Okay, and try to get that feel. We're not trying to kill it. We're just trying to get that feel of getting that wrist a little less cupped. Okay. Let's see if we can find a T here. There it is. There we go. All right. 4 swings. Okay, big guy.
Okay.
And just, all we're trying to get is a feel for that, okay? All right, so if I can just get that wrist a little bit more bowed, up at the top or flat. We start to hit it, start to get a little bit more left. All right. One second, let me get around behind you here real quick. You. Close. Set there, partner. Hold on. All right, go ahead whenever you're ready. I don't know why that didn't register, but let's take a look here nonetheless. All right, a down the line look, first one of the day, okay? All right, one thing I want to see is I want to change up this arm pattern. You see, I see a lot of your back, your front arm here. I want to see it the other way around. So instead of it kind of being like this, right, need it like this. Okay, so if I kind of came on in here, right, as far as setup goes, there we go, good. Go ahead, set up for me again. All right, so moving this foot back, right? Remember, we're trying to close off our body line, especially with the driver a little bit. Okay, if I came on in here just a little bit. All right, there you go. Okay, you see how I can see just the front of your left forearm here? Okay, and just soft there. And that gives us a better chance of getting to the inside. But once I start to get my arms this way, right, this way, you can see that my path is going to get over the top. Does that make sense? All right, so let's continue to take a look here, my man. Okay. Got a little bit of a lift off the beginning, but that's okay, not the end of the world. Okay. But you can see.
Yeah, still too much like over my head, I think.
Correct. You can see how steep you are here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If let me see. I think he's got an iron in his hands here. Let me just kind of go with the driver here. Okay. JT driver down the line. Let's see where his driver goes. Right. So you see how his shaft gets closer to his right forearm here, instead of more of his left forearm that you see here. Okay, so that's something that we want to try to focus on, right? So I want to kind of, you know, when we talk about shallowing, especially with the driver, okay, I definitely need to have that kind of feel, okay? If I just took one arm here, right, and I was going to throw something, right, that would fall more behind me than here. Does that make sense? Right, so just get into your setup for me, okay, and just use your right hand here, okay. And as you do that, feel where the weight of the club wants to go. Fall behind you, right? Okay? And that's how that instrument is supposed to be used. Okay? So allow that to shallow back behind you a little bit. Okay? That's the big issue that you're having. Because that's number one, that gets us over the top, right? And number two, that gets our low point down, right? And we want to get our low point to about, you know, where JT, he's about almost 4 inches behind the ball, right? So if this was the golf ball right here, okay, his low point's like over here. Does that make sense? And he's hitting up. Your low point right now is like here. Okay.
Going like that.
Yes. Yeah. So. All right. So you just at this point. Okay, so set up again for me. Okay. So Big thing is we're gonna have to work on getting these feet better, okay? This guy's always gotta be back, this guy's always gotta be forward, okay? Especially with the driver, if we're gonna try to hit a draw or straight, okay? Now, go ahead and set up for me, okay? Give me just a little bit more waist bend. So bend from the waist a little bit, there you go, okay? Good, all right. Now, as you come on up to the top for me, good, good. There you go, okay? There you go, okay?
Okay.
Right? Feel how we're starting to get that.
Mhm.
I don't mind that there's a little cupping here, but we can't be like this. Does that make sense? Then we're gonna be way across the line
Like
there.
that.
Yes, yes, so much more like that, okay? And now you have a better chance of getting that club square, okay?
Okay.
All right, now, the other thing we kind of see here a little bit in the video here, go ahead and set up again for me. Yeah, there you go, good, good. Gonna be kind of squared off a little bit. So as you get on up to the top for me, go ahead and get on up to the top. There you go. Feel that?
Mhm.
Okay. Now as we go, right, stomp that left heel for me. Okay, and have that chest rotating. Okay, we don't need to hold that angle that long, and this guy needs to be in front of you. Okay, whoop, whoop. Wow, we are getting crazy angles here now. Okay, here. Okay,
Okay.
all right, so you need to kind of make sure that we're keeping that right elbow in front of us and not back behind us.
Okay.
Okay? All right, let's hit a few here, okay? The main focus on this, right, on these 4 shots here is try to swing out towards the second baseman for me, okay?
Okay.
Right, so let me get this. I'm gonna go here, big guy. Okay? And I want you to just swing out along this line, okay?
Okay.
Try to get that shaft or try to get that plane path more positive, okay?
Okay.
Very good. Up in our setup. Okay. Closer to positive. Okay. You can see that our number behind the ball isn't as great. Okay. But we do need to get that to more of a positive. Okay, so I want to set up real quick. Here we go. Good job, buddy. What are we going to do?
T.
A little T. When life is running on one T.
I see it right.
You see it? Thank you, sir. Okay, good job right there. Good swing. Okay. All right, swinging out towards that second baseman. Right, closing off our body line, swinging out towards that second baseman. There you go. Good. Good job.
I don't think I did that one. Yeah.
Okay. Give me 2 more here, swinging out towards that second baseman. Try to get this number as positive as possible for me, okay? Good. See how our results are right there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'd still like to see that more down, more positive with the angle of attack, but that's okay. Give me 1 more here, big guy, okay?
Okay.
So big thing is, at least for what we're trying to do here a little bit, is try to get that club path closer to a positive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Face angle isn't too bad. You're not getting too wonky with that, but your angle of attack is definitely down. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just putting way too much spin on it, and whatever direction it's going to go, it's just amplifying. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm going to kind of do this too. So go ahead and I don't know where the T is, there it is. Go ahead and set up again for me. Here, I'm gonna hand you this. Okay, set one up for me, partner. I'm gonna kind of do this on you. Okay, so go ahead and set up. Okay, so I'm gonna put this right here in front.
Can't hit the top.
Okay, so we don't need a full swing here, okay? I just need you to kind of figure out, okay? I'll kind of move this. This is probably a little bit too aggressive right there. I want you to kind of figure out for me, okay? And we're just taking small swings. How can you get this to be a B? Okay, what do we need to feel to get this to a B? Okay, so just kind of more of a step back a little bit and trying to figure out how to launch that up instead of getting so aggressive behind it. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. What did you notice about that compared to your regular driver?
Well, like I kind of went like this, and then I went like down and swung up. Like
But you stayed back behind it, right? Did you feel your head when you got into impact? Your head was behind the ball, not ahead of it.
Yeah, and then it like tilted my shoulders, and then.
Perfect, 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 perfect. Good job. Okay, so this is what we talk about with our shoulders, right? So for an iron, my shoulders move in a negative position. You see that? That's how we're moving our shoulders for a driver, okay? This is how we want to move our shoulders. Is that how we're feeling?
Yes, sir.
Good, very good. That's what we want to kind of feel, right? Feel our shoulders moving, a positive, moving up, okay?
Okay.
Good, all right? So give me a couple swings here. Very good. Good job. Good. Okay. So have that ball up in our setup. Feel like it's lined up with our left shoulder, right? Okay, and then we're going to swing up and over that. How do we feel? What do we do? Okay. A little bit down, right? Okay, let's do it again. There we go. Good.
Oh, good down.
Right there, we were caught between two patterns there, weren't you?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. But you see what I'm getting you to kind of work on here a little bit?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is something you can definitely work in here a little bit. Okay, I want to take a look face on and see how we're doing. And then I want to take a look down the line. Any questions right now? Anything I can answer for you?
No, sir.
All right. All right. So go ahead and give me a swing here real quick, and I just want to kind of see.
Like a full swing?
Whatever swing is going to give you a positive shoulder, right? What we kind of talked about. So how is it going to feel to launch up? Do you need a full swing for that or just a half swing?
Just a half swing.
Okay, so let's go with that. Okay, good. Good, 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 good. Okay, I know it's out to the right. But let's take a look at this guy right here, okay? Yeah, you see how you're staying back behind it now?
Yeah.
Okay, that's really good.
My club half was better now, too.
Absolutely. A lot of things start to fix themselves, right? Okay, that's great. Yeah, our club path was just a little bit over the top. I'm fine with that. From where we're at to where we need to be, that's great with the driver, okay? Low point's good, okay? Look where our spin rate is, though. That's where I need you to be, okay? I know it's not a big bomber shot, but once we start to get that club head speed up, we should be good on that. Okay. All right, so good job there. Okay, we just need to kind of get to the point where we get our head to kind of finish forward a little bit, stand hanging back just a little bit extra, okay? Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
All right, big guy, give me a couple more here. Okay. to take a look. I wanted to take a look on this too. I'm just going to show you. Face on. Okay. Good job with the setup. Not so long with the backswing now, right? But you were trying to take a half swing,
Yeah,
right? Or
sure.
something like that. But the big thing is we got to get that wrist in a better position there.
All right.
Okay, that's something you're going to have to kind of work on a little bit, and I want to give you a few drills for that. Okay. And we're also, if you kind of see here, you kind of see that right arm is kind of staying stuck just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But you can see, look how much JT stays behind that ball,
Yeah.
and he launches that thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Much better position. Okay. We've got to get those arms to stay out in front of us a little bit better.
All right.
Okay. And not kind of feel like they're kind of whipping back behind us. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Right, so if you see JT here, right, when he's finishing and coming through, boom, like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can kind of see for you here a little bit, you kind of get like this, and it's kind of just a little bit like that. Okay, and that's a new movement pattern. I'm used to that, okay? All right, give me a couple more swings here, big guy. Again.
You said the low point, that needs to be a B?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So those are the things that, you know, when we're in here that we need to kind of work on. Okay? Give me one more, and then I want to kind of give you a few things to work on. Okay, big guy?
Okay.
Hey, big guy. Okay? Much better with our low point. Okay?
All right.
Much better with our low point there. Club path is still a little bit over the top. We need to work on that. But the big thing is, especially with the driver, as I said, we need to start getting that to a B.
Okay.
Okay, so let me kind of jump on in there real quick. Okay, so it's kind of a different concept, you know, than the irons, right? Where we're trying to, as I said, we're trying to hit down on it with a negative angle of attack with our shoulders. With the driver, we're trying to get a positive angle of attack with our shoulders. So much more like this. Okay. What I like is I like having a little something here that kind of forces me to swing up on it, gets my low point back behind that ball. Okay. But what we need to kind of do is maybe just small swings where we kind of feel like we're doing this. Okay. See what I'm doing there? I feel like I'm swinging up to the sky, but I'm staying back behind it a little bit. Okay. So just small little swings like this. And this is a great place to do it too, because we can see what a low point is, right? But get here and then just kind of, boom, hit up. Okay, just small little shots just like that, and start to get your low point to a point where it needs to be. So let's take a look here, okay? All right, so this is how I kind of do this. Just as so, get on in here. All right, and I'm just hitting small shots and trying to get a B. I don't care where it goes, I'm just trying to get that angle, attack behind it. Okay, mission accomplished for what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Right? At that point, I'm not trying to go for performance, I'm just trying to go for a feel and what I need to do to get that low point to where it needs to kind of be. Once we start to kind of do that a little bit, it's definitely going to be one of those things that once we start to do that, we start to rotate the face closed to get it square. Okay, but right now we're probably going to be more like this with the face open, just to keep loft on the face. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The other thing that we kind of talked about a little bit, wrist, right? We've got to get that wrist to the point where it's not like this at the top, okay? Because then the face is wide open at that point, okay? We need to get that wrist in a much more bowed or straight position. For you right now, if I got you to this position, I'd be absolutely ecstatic, okay? I'm not asking you to get like John Rahm or DJ like this, but if I can get you more in this position right here, it'll match the face up at the top. As long as your grip's good, which I don't see an issue with, okay? What we can kind of do here for that, so come on over here real quick, set up for me, okay? Usually what we used to do as kids is we put a big tongue depressor in there, okay? But you can put a T in there, right? You remember that?
Oh, big brace.
Mhm. So there you go. All right, so you see how that's going into your, yeah. So how do I get this up, my arms elevated, but my wrist not to really rotate that way? Does that make sense? Okay. So you get your arms up. There you go. Okay. So now, come on in. So now, you see where your wrist is? You see how that matches the face up there?
Yeah.
That's good. Okay,
Okay.
that's what we're trying to go for. Once again. Hey guys, good morning. Yeah. Okay. Right, and now what do we notice that we don't see? We don't see this going on.
Yeah.
Right? Then it's like I've got to pull hard to get that to come back to start. If I'm here, right, you can stomp and everything kind of comes down. Okay, now we can shower. Right? And now a lot of those good things that we're talking about starts to come to happen.
Right.
Okay? Questions of what we worked on today, my friend?
No, just
Okay? So a few things that we looked at with the irons as well, okay, and I want you to be particularly savvy of it, okay, is that with the irons we need to have a little bit smaller setup, okay, a little bit smaller stance a little bit, and we need the ball played up a little bit, okay. When I saw the 7-iron, it was getting played back where a 56 would be. And it's really tough to get that loft that we're looking for, and it's really tough to get that face to close in time. So make sure that you're practicing with alignment rods like we talked about, and feel like that ball is a little bit up in our setup, okay?
Okay.
I'd rather you hit it a little thin off the go than hitting it fat because it's too far back. Does that make sense? Okay? So keep me abreast of what the situation is, how you're doing, how are the changes coming along. Send me some videos of what you're working on.
All right.
Okay? And when's your next match, you said?
Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday, Thursday.
Tuesday, Thursday? Okay. And where are you on the depth chart?
I'm either 7. Well, actually, no, I'm definitely 8 because our 7 just shot 1 under.
Oh,
So there's-
wow. Okay, very good. Well, we need to go catch that, right?
Yeah.
We need to go catch that, okay? Keep working on that.
Cypress, they're good.
So,
There you go.
as I said, any other questions for today?
No.
Yeah, it's 6
All right. Send me some videos, as I said. Let's keep working on it, okay, big guy?
Yes, sir.
Good
Thank you.
work, man. Good
Never
work.
lost yet.